Dumbest public library complaints that made librarians question reality. Strongest. A man once wanted a refund for a library book he borrowed for free because he did not enjoy the ending. Welcome to Public Library Complaints, where free books, free Wi-Fi, quiet rooms, and basic due dates still somehow create customer meltdowns. Here are 46 complaints that made librarians question reality, patience, and possibly the alphabet. Number 1. Some complaints arrive already defeated by arithmetic. A first-time borrower checked out a public library book for free, read it over the weekend, disliked the story, and demanded a refund at the circulation desk. The librarian had to gently explain that no money had changed hands. The book was free to borrow, not a movie ticket with emotional insurance. A refund on free is just math having a breakdown. Number 2. The hold queue is where impatience goes to discover other people exist. One patron complained that the newest bestseller had too many names ahead of them and asked staff to move them up because they really wanted it. Bold claim. Everyone on the list also wanted it. That is why the list exists. The library was not hiding the book, it was sharing it in order. They met fairness and called it bad service. Number 3. Due dates are not decorative little calendar stickers. A patron returned a book 3 months late, then argued that late fees were unfair because they simply forgot. The account notice had been sent. The due date had passed. Other patrons have been waiting. The book was borrowed, not adopted into the family. They treated the return date like a casual suggestion from a shy clock. Number 4. Coffee and literature have a beautiful relationship until one becomes evidence. Someone returned a library book with brown stains across the pages, then demanded the staff prove it had not already looked like breakfast. The damaged item policy was suddenly treated like a courtroom mystery. But books are not coasters, napkins, or emotional support trays. They returned a novel with a full beverage biography. Number 5. A library card is not a magical invisibility pass. One visitor complained that registration required ID because they wanted to borrow public property anonymously and keep the relationship based on trust. Charming idea, except the librarian still needs to know who has the item. Shared books do not operate on vibes and eye contact. They wanted trust-based furniture rental, but with paperbacks. Number 6. Some people arrive at the library looking for books, and some arrive looking for other people's business. One patron got angry when staff refused to reveal what their spouse had checked out. They argued that marriage should override patron privacy, as if a library card came with domestic surveillance privileges. Borrowing history is private for a reason. They came for a mystery novel and tried to become one. Number 7. Nothing wounds a certain kind of patron like a machine doing its job. Someone walked through the security gate with an unchecked book, heard the alarm beep, and complained that it was embarrassing because they had good intentions. Unfortunately, the gate detects tags, not moral character. It cannot sense your heart, your backstory, or your promise to return Tuesday. Technology failed to scan their innocence. Number 8. Last-minute panic is not a collection development strategy. A student complained that the library would not buy an entire expensive textbook set for an exam happening the next week. They wanted the acquisition budget to sprint directly toward their personal emergency. Libraries can recommend resources, request materials, and manage collections, but they cannot impulse buy academic fear. They confused public service with emergency shopping. Number 9. Shelf space is finite, which continues to upset people with infinite fantasy needs. One patron complained that the library carried some volumes of a 12-book series, but not every single one. To them, the fiction section had failed as a personal dragon archive. In reality, libraries balance budgets, demand, space, and thousands of readers. They wanted Narnia, but with municipal funding and perfect sequel coverage. Number 10. There is always someone who thinks borrow means keep until emotionally ready. A slow reader refused to return a book because they were not finished yet, even after hitting the renewal limit. The problem was not the system being cruel. The problem was the hold queue quietly filling with other people who also knew how to read. Personal pacing does not cancel public sharing. Number 11. Renewal limits exist because books are not meant to disappear into one person's living room forever. One patron complained when the system blocked renewal because another reader had already placed a hold. They argued that since they had the book first, they should get to keep extending it. Bold interpretation of sharing. The library was not punishing them, it was letting the next person have a turn. They met fairness and asked for a manager. Number 12. A DVD case without the DVD is not a successful return. One patron brought back the plastic case empty inside and insisted that it should count because the case is here. The circulation desk then had to explain the ancient media truth that packaging is not content. The borrowed item was the disc, not the decorative shell that once contained it. By that logic, an empty pizza box is dinner. Number 13. Printers are honest machines with no mercy and very little imagination. A patron sent 87 pages to the print release station by mistake, paid for them, then complained that the library should refund the whole thing. The preview screen had existed. The page count had existed. The print button had definitely existed. The printer did not gamble. The patron did. They played printer roulette and blamed the casino. Number 14. Public service does not mean the ink has achieved socialism. One patron demanded free color printing because the library was public, as if cyan, magenta, and yellow appeared through community spirit. The color print fee was posted at the printer station. The staff did not invent toner scarcity to personally attack a school project. The paper came out exactly as requested. They thought civic pride powered the cartridge. Number 15. Computer timers are not emotionally moved by deadlines. A patron complained when their public computer session ended after the posted time limit, right in the middle of an essay they had not saved. They wanted the timer to recognize the importance of their assignment and quietly stop being a timer. Unfortunately, other patrons were waiting for those same computers. Microsoft Word did not declare a state of emergency. Number 16. The reference desk is helpful, but it is not a hidden Apple store. One visitor brought in a personal laptop, asked staff to fix the hardware, recover passwords, remove viruses, and explain why the screen kept freezing. When the librarian offered basic guidance instead of a full repair service, the patron complained about poor tech support. That was the plot twist. There was no tech support package. They saw a desk and invented a service contract. Number 17. Shared Wi-Fi has limits, especially when one person tries to turn the quiet area into a cinema. A patron complained that the library internet was slow while they were streaming movies on public Wi-Fi. Around them, other people were searching jobs, downloading forms, studying, and using the same network. The connection was not personally underperforming, it was being shared. They brought Netflix energy to a reference room and blamed the signal. Number 18. There is a difference between helping someone use a computer and becoming their unpaid keyboard. One patron wanted staff to type an entire job application while they dictated answers from a chair nearby. When the librarian explained they could guide them through the form but not complete it for them, the complaint became, "No one wants to help anymore." Assistance has boundaries. They did not ask for help. They tried to outsource adulthood. Number 19. A scanner is a copy machine, not a time machine with lighting correction. Someone placed a blurry, folded, coffee-marked document on the copy and scanner station, then complained when the scan looked blurry, folded, and coffee-marked. They expected the machine to reverse bad lighting, paper damage, and several questionable life choices. The scanner copied reality with cruel accuracy. They wadded Photoshop from a photocopier. Number 20. Public computers are shared resources, not a buffet line with monitors. One patron complained when staff would not let them use 2 computers at once for their workflow. The 1 computer per user rule was posted, simple, and designed so other people could also access the internet. Their tasks may have been important, but importance does not create a second login. They tried to double park in the digital parking lot. Number 21. Speakerphone people always believe their conversation has been selected for public broadcast. One patron to the loud call in the quiet area, full volume, dramatic pauses included, then complained when staff asked them to lower their voice. The quiet policy was not mysterious. The signs were visible. The room was full of people reading, studying, and silently begging for escape. They brought full-volume drama to a building full of whispers. Number 22. Studying loudly is still loud. A group of students complained when library staff asked them to stop shouting answers across a shared study space. They insisted they were working, which was true, in the same way a marching band is technically practicing music. Other patrons were also trying to concentrate without hearing every quiz answer launched across the table. They confused group study with a sports bar trivia night. Number 23. Nothing says respect for shared materials like soup hovering over a borrowed book. One patron complained about food restrictions after eating a messy lunch across library books, complete with crumbs, sauce, and a beverage positioned like a threat. The rule was not anti-snack tyranny. Food damages pages, leaves smells, and invites pests that do not have library cards. They treated the reference section like a picnic blanket. Number 24. Headphones are one of civilization's quieter inventions. A patron complained that staff required headphones for videos on their phone because they did not think the volume was that bad. Unfortunately, everyone else did. The device noise policy was not trying to silence art, education, or a 3-minute clip with screaming sound effects. It was protecting shared quiet. They thought their video needed a live audience. Number 25. A favorite chair is not real estate. One regular complained because another patron was sitting in the library chair they always use. The chair had no nameplate, reservation slip, velvet rope, or family crest. It was shared seating in a public building. Habit does not create property rights, just because someone has emotionally decorated the area in their mind. They colonized the reading chair with vibes. Number 26. Remote work becomes comedy when someone chooses the children's area and then objects to children. A laptop worker complained that story time was too loud, even though they had set up beside the scheduled children's program. The calendar listed it. The room had picture books, tiny chairs, and toddlers preparing for organized chaos. The library was not interrupting their office. They had built an office inside a toddler zone. Number 27. Story time is not a custody transfer with puppets. One parent dropped off their children for hours and then complained when staff called them back. The unattended children policy was clear. Librarians run programs, recommend books, and help families use the space. They do not become child care workers because someone has errands. The children's desk is not a daycare counter. They try to leave with freedom and return for pickup. Number 28. Some parents want a librarian, teacher, referee, and courtroom judge in the same cardigan. During a children's event, one parent complained that staff would not discipline another child exactly the way they wanted. The program had books, songs, and simple activities, not legal authority over every small conflict. Caregivers still remain responsible for behavior. They came for a puppet show and demanded courtroom powers. Number 29. Free craft supplies are limited because glitter has not become an infinite natural resource. A patron complained when a children's craft program ran out of materials after the planned group had already used them. The event had a supply count, a start time, and a budget. It was not a bottomless glue stick fountain. They discovered municipal limits through construction paper. Number 30. Baby story time is not designed to prepare toddlers for graduate school. One parent complained that the rhymes, bubbles, and simple picture books were too basic for their gifted child. The age-targeted program was literally for babies and very young children. Nobody had promised advanced literary criticism between peekaboo and clapping songs. They wanted Shakespeare in a room where half the audience was still chewing the board books. Number 31. Free meeting rooms attract a special kind of business imagination. One organizer reserved a public library room, then complained when staff said they could not charge admission at the door. The room was available for community use, not for turning free air conditioning into a private revenue stream. Public space comes with public use rules. They did not book a venue. They tried to monetize a library calendar slot. Number 32. A meeting room is not a closet with fluorescent lighting. One community group complained because the library would not store their projector, posters, boxes, and random cables between meetings. The storage policy was simple. Shared rooms must reset for the next group. The library was offering space, not long-term custody of equipment. They saw a public building and discovered free self-storage in their imagination. Number 33. Nothing says public meeting room like a guest list, cake table, and someone guarding the door like it's a private gala. A party planner complained when staff reminded them the room had to remain accessible under library meeting room rules. They expected a free community space to transform into a locked banquet hall with civic wallpaper. But the library was not a mini wedding venue. They tried to book public space for cake secrecy. Number 34. Some presenters do not just want a room. They want borrowed credibility. One sales seminar host complained that the library would not advertise their business as an official library event. The non-endorsement policy was doing exactly what it was designed to do. Providing a room does not mean the library approves, sponsors, or spiritually blesses the pitch. They wanted a library card to become a marketing badge. Number 35. Free room use does not include magical cleanup elves. One group left flyers, crumbs, coffee cups, and rearranged chairs behind, then complained when staff reminded them of the cleanup responsibility. The meeting room policy expected users to return the space as they found it. This was not a hotel conference package with housekeeping hiding behind the stacks. They rented nothing and still expected aftercare. Number 36. Capacity limits are not a personal insult written by chairs. One organizer complained that the meeting room could not hold their oversized event because fire safety rules capped the number of people allowed inside. They expected staff to bend space, multiply seats, and politely erase the fire code. The room was not being negative. It was being legally survivable. They tried to negotiate with oxygen and exit routes. Number 37. Severe weather is not a customer service challenge to be overcome with bookmarks. A patron complained when the library closed early during unsafe conditions because they needed one printout. Emergency closing procedures exist so staff and visitors do not have to battle storms for routine errands. The printer could wait. The pavement, wind, and visibility could not. They wanted librarians to fight the weather for page 3. Number 38. 2 minutes before closing is not the start of a full research journey. One patron arrived as staff were beginning closing procedures and wanted help with a complicated question, account issue, and several catalog searches. They complained when told the building was about to close. The clock was not being rude. Hours are real. They discovered closing time at the exact speed of panic. Number 39. Librarians are skilled researchers, not psychic book dolphins. One patron complained when staff could not instantly identify a novel from the description. It had a blue cover. That clue narrowed it down to approximately half of publishing history. The reference search needed an author, title, plot, character, genre, anything with oxygen. They brought one color to the desk and requested a miracle with a barcode. Number 40. The reference desk can help you find information, but it cannot legally become a courthouse. One patron arrived with an online form, demanded legal advice, and complained when staff would not tell them exactly what to write. Librarians can point to resources, databases, and official instructions. They cannot become free attorneys because a PDF looked intimidating. They tried to turn public reference help into a private law firm. Number 41. Tax season turns every public printer into a blame magnet. One patron complained that the tax forms were confusing and acted as if the library had personally designed the government paperwork. Staff could provide forms, point to official instructions, and show where information was located. They could not rewrite the tax system between the copier and the reference desk. The library stocked the forms. It did not invent the headache. Number 42. A public library is many things, but it is not a backpack babysitter. One patron wanted staff to watch their laptop, coat, and bags while they left for lunch, then complained when told personal property was their responsibility. The policy was not cold, it was realistic. Librarians help patrons, not unattended electronics with abandonment issues. They tried to check out a librarian as a locker. Number 43. Book donations sound noble until the box smells like a haunted basement. One patron complained when the library would not accept a stack of moldy old books from storage. They insisted the books were still good, which is generous if your definition of good includes spores. Donation policies exist because damaged materials can harm collections and staff. Mold is not nostalgia. They donated a basement smell with page numbers. Number 44. Collection weeding feels personal to people who believe every outdated manual is a sacred artifact. One patron complained that the library removed an ancient computer guide from the technology shelf. The book was obsolete, unused, and taking space from current materials. Libraries do not keep every item forever just because it once explained a printer from 1998. They wanted the tech section to become a museum of confusion. Number 45. Some patrons do not want a catalog. They want a personal, town-funded assistant. One reader complained that staff would not call them every time a new romance novel arrived. The library had new arrival shelves, catalog alerts, newsletters, and normal ways to track books. But apparently none of that matched the dream of a municipal book concierge. Staff served the whole community, not one private notification empire. Number 46. The final complaint was almost poetic. Someone said the library was too quiet and had no atmosphere. The quiet reading environment, the soft footsteps, the calm desks, the low voices, all of it was somehow treated like a design failure. They wanted a library to feel like a coffee shop, co-working lounge, and bookstore launch party. Instead, it behaved exactly like a library. Quiet was not the defect. Quiet was the feature. So there it is. 46 public library complaints, proving that even free books, quiet rooms, shared computers, and basic due dates can somehow become personal attacks. Somewhere out there, a librarian is calmly explaining that the printer did exactly what it was told. Which complaint would have made you lose your library voice first? Drop it in the comments. And if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and come back for more beautifully wrong customer logic.